Assalamualaikum and welcome everyone to our subject EAMG 3123 Program Development and Management in Early Childhood Education. So for this week we will be looking at Unit 1, which is assessing community needs and establishing program. So before I go further, let's look at the learning outcome for this unit. Okay, so there are 5 learning outcomes that you are expected to be able to do by the end of this unit. So the first one, you are expected to be able to assess the needs of the community. Secondly, program for you to be able to list out the program mission and value statement. Okay. Thirdly, okay, for you to be able to identify the types of program that is available or related to early childhood education, and then for you to know what are the standards of practice related to program development, and then finally for you to understand, okay, or to know how can we fund our program. Okay, so we start with what is community needs assessment. So what does it mean by apa tu? Community needs assessment? So basically, okay, community needs assessment is our understanding, okay, towards the community needs, okay, referring to community needs, referring to the specific condition and expectation of the people living in that particular area. All right, so we do that assessment in order for us to figure out what is the need or specific condition or expectation from the people in that particular area. So, in the context of early childhood education, this will include the age range of the children, the parents' working hours, okay, probably to the extent of the cultural and religious practice. Okay, on top of that, okay, it helps us to understand the demographic of the people in the area. Okay, what are their working patterns, their working hours, right? And what are the family challenges? Because whatever problem they have, that will be the solution that we are going to offer when you want to provide the services. Okay, and also by doing community needs assessment, it helps us to ensure that our program is relevant to the community. Okay, our program will be the effective one that is provided to the community, and it will be beneficial to the community. Okay, so again, why should we have why should we assess community needs? Okay, why is it important for us to initiate this to assess these community needs? Okay, so by assessing community needs, basically it helps us to ensure that early childhood program that we provide to the people will be relevant, useful, and also accessible, because we able to identify what are the children and the family needs in the community. Therefore, whatever service that we provide to them will be relevant, useful, and also accessible. Okay, and also we want to ensure that the program is relevant and responsive lah. Okay, because we know exactly what is the problem that the community are facing. Okay, then only we be able to provide the solution. Okay, so the solution will be relevant to the needs of the people. Okay, on top of that, okay, we can avoid duplication of services. Okay, because if there is so many program that is available is similar to each other, it could be saturated. Therefore, it won't help, or maybe it will be hard for you to sustain your program. Okay, so by knowing what exactly the community needs, help you to provide a service that is not similar to other program. Okay, so it helps to avoid the application of services, because every community is different. Okay, some communities have many parents. Okay, some have limited choices of option, all right, and probably some have children with special needs. Okay, so by understanding the differences of this community, okay, we as the center or the program, we can design one specific program that truly can support for family instead of we offering same types of services or a service that is kind of like one size fits all, okay, which is just the same like any other program, right? So it is very important for us to have to assess the community needs so that we be able to provide a program that is relevant, useful, and also accessible to the parents. Okay. So when you want to assess the community needs, right, there are few ways that we can do it. Okay, so the method of assessing needs of the community, there are few ways that we can do it. Okay, so the common data collection tools can be in the form of a survey and questionnaire for parents. Okay, so you can distribute a survey and questionnaire form with the sets of question and close-ended question or open-ended question, right? So you can just give out, distribute around, and get their response. So from there, you'll be able to see what is the thing that they needed the most. Or maybe you can also do interview with the families and community leaders, right? So interview, you ask them questions, open-ended question, right? Or maybe you can do focus a group discussion or interview. Take a group of people, okay, like a coffee time, have 4 or 5 parents or anyone from the community, okay, and then you do a discussion or a question with them lah. So with stakeholders, so who is actually the stakeholder? Okay, so when we talk about stakeholder, it could be anyone within the area, like anyone who has interest in the program. Okay, so the stakeholder could include, of course, the parents and the family. Who else in the surrounding? The community leaders. It can also be the local authorities. Okay, the educators as well as the health and social service providers. So these are all the stakeholders that you can also do the assessment lah, okay, and you can also do an observation of the surrounding childcare centers, okay, the competitors. You may also look around what are the kind of services that is not available yet in that area, okay, and also you may do review of a statistic lah by looking at the population, the income of the people in the area, or the employment rate. Okay, so it can be in the form of interview, in the form of survey, observation, as well as document review. Okay, so there's a lot of way how you can figure out the needs of the people in the area. Okay, so these are some of the method that you can do. Okay, moving on to program mission and value statement. So, what is a mission statement? Okay, so, mission statement is describing the program purpose, goal, and the main focus. Okay, so basically, usually in a mission statement, it will explain who the program will intend to serve, okay, who it serves, what it aims to achieve, okay, how it supports the children development in the context of early childhood education. Okay, usually we be able to understand the purpose, the aim, or the mission of the program by reading on their mission statement. Okay, so having a mission statement will also guide the decision and decision making and planning for that particular program. Having a mission statement is like a pathway. It's like a pathway. It guide you to where you wanted to go. Okay, so a good mission statement should have these few features. Okay, so features of a strong mission statement should be clear and simple. Okay, means that when you read the statement, all right, people don't have to really think or figure out, or maybe they have difficulty to understand what your statement are. So it should be clear and simple, probably in one or two sentences only. Okay, so in our context of early child education, you should focus on children and family, because that is what we're trying to provide. Okay, services to children and family. Therefore, our mission statement should focus on children and family. All right, and it should align with the values and philosophy of early childhood education. Okay, whatever we do, the rule of thumb, it should benefit the child. Therefore, our mission statement should align with our values and philosophy. And of course, when you create your mission statement, it should be achievable and realistic. Okay, something that we can achieve, right? And for program value statement, okay, program value statement is the core value of our early childhood program. Okay, of course, these are the value that we should be emphasizing when we want to tell people about our program. Okay, so first one is the respect for children and family, because when we provide a services, right, it's a service that people want to value. People want to feel that our service is important for them. It's a service that they need, they want to use. Therefore, we need to ensure, or we need to emphasize on the respect for children and family. Okay, and then secondly, safety and well-being. Okay, it's one of the most important value or product that we should focus on when we talk about early childhood education. Okay, the safety and well-being of the children. Not only that, we also have to look at inclusiveness and diversity of the children in our center. Okay, so probably you want to include children with a special need, or maybe from children from other races and so on. Okay, not forgotten. Okay, developmentally appropriate practice. Okay, to ensure that children can develop according to their milestone. Okay, and also it's very important for us to emphasize on family partnership and also professionalism. Okay, moving on to the types of program that is available for early childhood education. So in Malaysian context, okay, we have two types of program. We have TASCA and TADIGA. Now let's go to TASCA. In TASCA itself, we have four types of childcare services, right? Which is TASCA. We have home-based childcare center, workplace childcare center, community childcare center, and also institution-based childcare center. So home-based childcare center are the one that we usually call as pengaso, or home-based, like it's a home-based nanny or pengasuh lah. Alright. So usually in this childcare center, they're only taking care of children. Those are registered. They can take care of children less than 10 lah, in their own house, in their own home or premises. Okay, and then we have workplace childcare center. So as the name says, okay, it's a childcare center in a workplace, and it's being encouraged or initiated by the Ministry of Women, Family and Development lah. Okay, and we also have the community childcare center. Usually, community childcare center are the one that is managed by organization that is appointed by the government, such as Permata, Kemas, and so on. Okay, and then we have the institution-based center, the one that we usually see in the housing area, the private one. Okay, so that one is called as institution-based childcare center. Okay, so for parents, okay, or for us as the operator for the program, how can we choose the right types of program? So there are a few factors to consider. All right, of course, the first one, we need to know what are the community needs. All right, so community needs results. Okay, from there, then you can decide what are the types of program you want to develop. Okay, of course, you have to look at what the availability of a space and facilities. Okay, how much your budget and funding do you have? Then only you can decide what types of program you can do. Staff qualification, regulatory requirement, program also a philosophy target age group, and so on. Okay, so in order for you to choose the right types of a program for you to develop, okay, you can look at all of these factors before you can conclude the program type that you want to develop. But however, key program type must always align with the mission and values of your program. Okay. Now moving on to the standards of practice. What is important to have a standards of practice? Okay. Standards of practice, or the SOP, as the one that we usually hear. Okay. It's important to ensure or to maintain the quality of our program. Okay, it doesn't matter what day operates your program, which day, which month, which year, you will have the same standard of quality, what and what to be done, what and what not to be done, not to be done. Okay, so regardless how many centers you have, how many programs you have, how long you have operated, but you will have the same standards of practice. Okay, what are the step by step that you have to do, right? So when you have the standard of practice, it helps you to maintain your quality. On top of that, it can help to protect the children safety. Okay, so if it says that only three babies are allowed to be taken care by one nanny, so that is the standards of practice in order to protect children safety, and also it's for the quality learning environment. Okay, so probably in teaching children, there are step by steps that we have to do. So when everyone follow the same practice, everyone follow that step by step. Okay, then we can ensure children will receive a quality learning. Okay, not only that, it can help to support professional practice. Okay, because we have that step by step, so everyone will basically learn the same standard of practice. Okay, and because we have the same standards of practice, then it will ensure consistency in our operation. There will be no skip in the steps or the service that you want to deliver. Okay, so these are some of the common quality standards in our early child program. Okay, in the context of Malaysia, we have our own curriculum standards, respectfully, accordingly to either TASCA or TADIKA. So we will follow the standard of practice accordingly. Okay, our TASCA have our own SOP, and the TADIKA also have their own SOP. Okay, according to the curriculum standards lah. For TASCA, we will follow the Permata, and for TADIKA, we will follow the KSPK previously, or the KP 2026. Okay, and also it can help, and also we have the standard of practice for our health and safety guideline, okay, by the KKM, by the BOMBER, and so on. And for TASCA, we have standard of practice for teacher-child ratio for each of the age group. It has its own ratios, right? For the babies, three babies to one teachers, or for toddlers, $5 to one teacher, and so on. Okay, and also for daily routine, policies, procedure, accreditation, and monitoring. Okay, so all of this has been stated in the uh, standard of practice according to the curriculum standard uh, accordingly lah. Okay, so standards ensure the program is safe, consistent, and high quality. Okay, now how can we implement the standards of practice? Right, so there are a few ways how we can do that. The first one, of course, we need to train the staff. The staff is our frontliner, therefore they need to know what are the procedure. So in order to let them know about the procedure, um, most of the time we will send the staff for training. Yeah, there are compulsory training, there are optional additional training, by whatever in whatever the training is. Okay, one way to implement the standard is by sending the staff to training. Okay, not only that one is on the staff part, but on the management staff, management level, we need to develop a clear SOP, an SOP that the staff could refer to. staff could access and refer to, SOP that the staff could understand. So we need to develop a clear SOP. Okay. Yes, now that we have the SOP, but how do we know that all of our staff are following the SOP, following the standards of practice? Okay. Then the regular audit will come in. Okay, so we need to conduct a regular audit. So regular audit is not necessary only at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year only. Okay, regular audits can be done in monthly basis or in bi-monthly basis. Okay, so the more frequent you do, the better. Okay, so you can conduct a regular audits. Again, of course, by doing so, it can help us to comply with the licensing requirement lah. Okay, so to prove that we has complied with the licensing requirement, okay, we can document all of whatever we have taken lah. Okay, document policies and practice. Okay. Moving on to program funding. Okay, so on top of establishing your program, one of the things that is very important to sustain your program is to have the fund. Okay, so why funding is important? Because we need a fund to pay for the staff salaries and also for staffing. Okay, we need to pay for our current staff, and also we will need funding to get a new staff. Okay, even to get a new staff, we also need to fund, because we need to send them to training. Okay, we need to let them know what are the standards of practice for the program. Okay, so we will need fund, we will need money, we will need the capital to pay for the salary for the staff. We will need money to buy for the learning materials for the children to learn. Okay, we also need money to buy for the for food and supplies. Okay, usually for Tasca we will provide meals. Therefore, how can we provide meals? All right, how can we buy for the supplies? We will need fund, we will need money. Okay, now on top of that, okay, all these small things, but there are also another hidden cost that you usually overlook, which is the facility maintenance. Okay, after sometimes our program can have this wear and tear issues. Okay, therefore we will need a maintenance. So maintenance will also need funding. Okay, of course, having fund, enough fund will also help for continuous program improvement. Okay, so where can we get our fund? Where can we get the money, okay, to sustain our program? So these are the types of funding that we can consider. Of course, the first one is from the fees, the monthly fees, okay, parents fees, and then secondly, government subsidies. Okay, so in Malaysia we do have subsidies, fee subsidies from the JKM, okay, or maybe from NGO or community supports, right? And also corporate sponsorship. There are private company that is giving out a charity or doing um, charity work, or what do they call? Okay, so they can sponsor funds to your company, or maybe to certain extent you can do fundraising event as well. All right, or okay, you can collaborate with another organization to raise a fund for your program. Okay, now having fun only is not sufficient. Okay, you must know how to budget for your fund. Okay, you must know how to spend your funding. Therefore, budget planning comes in. Okay, so planning a program budget will include estimating all costs involving in your program operation. Okay, you need to estimate all costs from the staffing, from the maintenance, operations, supplies, and everything. Okay, not only that, you also need to predict your income. Okay, in the future, how much you need to make, how much money will come in. Okay, but not only in and out of the money, however, you also need to plan how much fund you need to allocate for emergency in case something happen. Excuse me. Okay, okay, not only about planning. Okay, however, monitor expenses also very important to ensure that you do not overuse the company budget or company fund. Okay, having enough fund is one of the factors that could help to ensure the long-term sustainability of your program. Therefore, budget planning is very important. Okay, not only we focusing on the program development only, not only we focusing on the children welfare only. However, we as the early childhood operator or educator, we are also a part of a business. Therefore, in order to sustain the business or the program, we need to carefully plan for our budget. Okay, so that will be all for our topic for our unit this time. I shall be seeing you all on our unit 2 next time. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.